the applicant. Fill out one of these sheets so we don't miss anybody and hand it to staff so we get you recognized. First item on the agenda is to receive the minutes of the last meeting.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to receive the minutes from the March 2nd, 2023 meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes when you can.
Mr. Voorhees, what say you?
I'll abstain, although the minutes correctly reflect I wasn't here.
Mr. Williams, say yea.
All right, they're approved. Okay. Next, we've got some continuance requests. Cindy, you want to run down that list, please?
We have item number 19, case number 15160, deferred till April the 6th, 2023. Item number 20, case number 15171, deferred till April 20th. Item number 21, case number 15172, deferred till April 20th. Item number 22, case number 15173, deferred till April 20th. Item number 23, case number 15174, deferred till April 20th. Item number 24, case number 15175, deferred till April 20th. And item number 25, case number 15176, deferred till April 20th.
Any questions, discussion? Guess we're ready for a motion then.
I so move that we accept the changes to the agenda.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes when you can. And those items are continued to the dates she announced. Any requests for continuance or withdrawal by an applicant? Okay, Cindy, I think there's no consent docket, so I think we're ready.
Okay, item number 1, case number 15306, a request of Shane LeBeth for a variance to lot size requirements for the above-ground flammable liquid storage restricted in the I-2 Industrial District in the AE1 Airport Environ Zone located at 6701 North Rockwell Avenue, Lot 3.
Is an applicant present on that one?
Mr. Shane LeBeth is not here today, so
Oh, yeah, you're representing.
thank you.
All right, if you'd give us your name and address and tell us a little bit about your application, please.
Okay, my name is Brady Butler. I'm with Cooper Air and representing Midland Financial as well. So we are signing a lease with the airport and for the intention of building a airport hangar and installing a fuel farm for 3 aircraft that we own. And the case on 15306 is for a variance to install a fuel farm on a property that we're leasing from the airport. It is 2.36 acres, and per the code, the minimum is 2.5 acres, which is why we are asking for a variance.
Questions, comments from the board? I didn't see any protest on this one.
No.
Okay, if we don't have any questions from the board, is Is there anybody wanting to speak on this one? I don't have anybody signed up. Okay, I think we're ready for a motion then.
I would like to move that we approve case number 15306 for a variance on the grounds that it meets the requirements of the variance.
We have a got a second. Cast your votes. Okay. That one's approved.
Okay, item number 2, case number 15307, request of Shane LeBeth for a special exception to allow one 20,000-gallon above-ground protected full storage tank in the I-2 Industrial District and AE1 Airport Environment Zone located at 6701 North Rockwell Avenue, Lot 3.
And this one's for 20,000-gallon tank is all I saw in this one.
That's correct. Thanks for having me again. So the code allows for a 10,000-gallon tank, and above that requires a special exception. We will have 3 aircraft in our hangar that hold 5,000 to 6,000 gallons of fuel each. So in order to fuel the airplanes, we would need 15,000 to 18,000 gallons of fuel, which is why we are requesting a 20,000-gallon tank.
Ken, questions, comments from the board?
Yeah, that's double the amount that's required, that they're saying you have to have out there, right? The maximum capacity is 10,000 and you're requesting an additional 10,000?
That's correct. So we're requesting to have one 20,000-gallon tank, and which would be required to fuel the aircraft that will be housed there.
So is there any way that you could put 2 10,000, which equals 20 itself?
It is possible. It's not preferred, but it's possible.
Well, and all things are possible. However, 10,000 is so much greater than what's the maximum capacity at this time. And is there enough space where you can put 2 tanks out there?
Yes, but I believe we would still need the same special exception for having a total of 20,000 gallons on the property.
Why would you need a special exception to have an additional tank if the maximum is 10 and you can put 2 that equal a total of 20?
I believe it's 10,000 gallons on the property.
Oh, it is per acreage or what?
Yes.
For the 2.5 acres. And I believe that the airport trust has approved this.
That's correct. We have a letter from the airport trust accepting one 20,000-gallon tank.
Okay. So is that letter in our thing?
So Thad Johnson, Planning Commission, Planning Department. That is correct. The use does allow a 10,000-gallon tank by right. If they want to exceed the 10,000 gallons, they have to come for a special exception.
Any other questions? I don't have anybody signed up to speak on this one. Does anybody want to? Nope. Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion then.
I'll make a motion that we approve case number 15248 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for special exception.
And I'll second after looking at the diagram. I see where it won't present a problem or anything, so I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Okay, you're approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We have item number 3, case number 1524, exception of Randy Smith to allow home sharing in the R2 District located at 1808 Northwest 11th Street.
My name is Christy Fennel. I work for Randy Smith's law firm. These properties are held in Smith Holdings. He is out of town on spring break, so in his place.
Are these all on one property with just different addresses? I think I counted 4.
Well, I've actually got 6. So
Yeah.
two of
Okay.
them, both of the one on the 11th, they're on the same lot, but they're 2 separate buildings with their own addresses.
Okay.
So one of these is the garage apartment, one of these is the residence up front by address?
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the property?
Currently, we just use it as an Airbnb. We list it on Airbnb, VRBO, short-term rentals.
So you were notified you were out of compliance, and so that's why you're here?
Well, actually, we were out of compliance on our other property. So while we were at it, because he just purchased this late last year, so we went ahead and wanted to stay in compliance. So we went ahead and filed these as well.
So 1808, is that the garage apartment or the house, do you know?
The 18, let me- I believe it's the 1808 that is the garage apartment.
It says 4 rooms, 2 total units, so that's what I thought too.
But it has a separate address, correct?
Correct.
What is the address of the other unit?
1810.
It's the next case.
Okay. So then really, this is, what we're approving on this particular one is just for the 2 bedrooms.
Correct.
Okay. And this will be your first licensed Airbnb? And so on the house rules, what we typically see is 10 PM to 8 AM. Would you be fine with making the modification on the quiet hours there?
Absolutely.
And I know you said you've been already operating this as an Airbnb. Have you had any issues with any tenants, any neighbors?
We have not.
And as this is your first time with this property, something I always ask for is to do it as a 1-year exemption.
Okay. Yeah, when I talked to the gentleman that kind of helped us walk through all this, he said our first one's usually just a 1 year.
And we're saying 4 guests for the 2 bedrooms.
Correct.
Any other questions, comments?
This one's pretty.
I don't have anybody signed up to speak, so anybody want to address this application? Okay, I think we're ready for a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve case number 15248 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirements for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules with the modifications of quiet hours to be from 10 PM to 8 AM for a duration of 1 year.
Motion and a second, cast your votes. All right, this one's approved.
Item number 4, case number 15249, an application for a special exception of Randy Smith for home sharing at 1810 Northwest 11th Street.
Christy Fennel, on behalf of Randy Smith. This is the additional property in the back. It's pretty much same as before.
Okay. All right, any additional questions, comments from the board? I don't have anybody signed up on this, or anybody wants to address this application. Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve case number 15249 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirements for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules with, again, the same modifications of quiet hours to be from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. For a duration of 1 year.
Okay, a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Okay, you're approved.
Item number 5, case number 15285, an application for exception for Randy Smith for home sharing at 1138 Northwest 34th. This is Unit 1.
Christy Fennell on behalf of Randy Smith. This is a separate property that he owns. It's actually a fourplex off of 38th and, or 34th and Class, I'm sorry. It's 4 separate apartment-type dwellings that he uses as Airbnbs.
So are they a bedroom and a living room as a unit? or-
So 2 of the units in this fourplex are 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, full kitchen, dining room, and living space. The other 2 units are 1 bedroom, 1 bath, full kitchen, living room, and dining space.
Okay, so this one, the first one must be a 1 bedroom,
Yes.
1 bath, okay. Because he's asking for four people, so sleeper sofa in the living room.
Sleeper sofa in
Just
the
wa-
1 bedrooms,
wanna make
yes.
sure.
So are all these fourplexes, do they share the same driveway and parking space?
They do.
There's a driveway and a parking in the back.
Yes, so this is,
Pretty good
this is
lot.
behind the property. It will hold 4 comfortably, 5 if needed. And then there's also the street parking.
And a pretty long driveway.
It's a very long driveway.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking because you have the next ones that's coming up as well. And they're all connected, the units. And I want to make sure that there's enough parking space. Because if this is a one bedroom and then your other ones are 2 bedrooms, and each of those have 2 cars that's coming for the same driveway, that can be a total of up to 6 or 8 cars.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, we have entrances to from the back parking and then, of course, the street parking, that's street parking. But you can access, all properties or all the units from the front and from the back. There's a main entrance that goes to all of them. So in the past, we haven't had any issues with parking. But I totally understand where you're coming.
Yeah, but you just said it's more than one entry and exit into the,
Correct. So like this is the back of the property and they're basically wood decks built on, it's a 2-story.
Okay.
And each have a door that you can access the unit from there. The front of the property has one main door. The entrance it kind of goes into like a little atrium kind of thing where the front doors are there as well. And a single set of staircase going up to the 2nd floor.
okay. I can see that stairwell on the picture here.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess we don't really have a good picture of the property.
Oh, I have one here. so-
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Questions, comments? And I don't have anybody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address this application? Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve case number 15285 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirements for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules, with the following modifications. Quiet hours to be from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for a duration of 1 year.
Okay, got a motion and a second, so cast your votes. You're You're approved.
Item number 6, case number 15286, application of special exception for Randy Smith for home sharing at 1138 Northwest 34th, Unit 2.
Christy Fennel, again, on behalf of Randy Smith. This is yet another of our one-bedroom units in the fourplex. Everything else still kind of applies.
Any questions, comments from the board on this one?
Nope, it's just like the other one. So I would like to move that we approve case number 15286 for a special exception for a period of 1 year with all of the self-imposed rules.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so cast your votes.
Member Noble, what say you?
You're approved.
Item number 7, case number 15287, application of a special exception of Randy Smith for home sharing at 1138 Northwest 34th, Unit 3.
Christy Fennel, on behalf of Randy Smith. This will be our two-bedroom units in the fourplex.
Any other questions from the board?
I so move that we approve case number 15287 for a special exception for a period of 1 year on the grounds that it meets the basis for a special exception with all of the house rules listed.
Okay, cast your votes. You're approved.
Item number 8, case number 15237, an application for special exception of Randy Smith for home sharing at 1138 Northwest 34th, Unit 4.
Christy Fennel, one more time for Randy Smith. This is our other two-bedroom unit in the same fourplex.
Okay, anything from the board? I don't have anybody signed up on this one.
Okay, I so move that we approve case number 15237 for a special exception for a period of 1 year on the grounds that it does meet the requirements with all of the self-imposed rules.
Did I hear 1 year?
1 year, yes, please.
All right, you're approved.
Thank you all.
Item number 9, case number 15301, an application for Richard Ailing for home share in the NC and HL Historic Landmark District at 819 Northwest 24th.
Richard Ailing, I'm the applicant.
Give us your name and your address, just for the record, please.
My personal address or the home address for the? My address is, okay, mine's 833 Northwest 41st Street.
Okay, thanks, sir. Go ahead, tell us a little bit about you.
This is a short-term rental. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It is 1,135 square feet and very close to all the fun parts of town, the Plaza District, the Midtown, Uptown districts. So it's a great location, great neighbors.
Questions for the board?
Something that I always ask about is, you're asking for 5 years on this exemption, but this is the first time this property,
I'm sorry?
you're asking for 5 years on this? But this is the
Love
first,
that,
the
certainly,
first time this
yeah.
property is getting rented
Yeah.
or put on short-term lease. And so, for me, I would like to ask if a 1-year exemption would be okay.
I'm not going to turn it down. That's fine, yeah, that works.
And then the other thing is, we always ask for quiet hours.
Certainly.
You don't have a problem from
No, not a
10
problem
p.m.
at
to 8 a.m.?
Yeah, we don't
Hours for
allow any
neighbors.
events or anything like that at the property, no parties, anything like that, so that would make that part of the rules.
Anything else from the board? Nobody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address this application? Ready for a motion?
Make a motion that we approve application 15301 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules and the quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for a period of 1 year.
Got a motion and a second. You're approved.
Thank you very much.
Item number 10, case number 15300, an application from Scarlett Licao for home sharing in 3326 Northwest 16th Street.
Good afternoon, my name is Scarlett Licao. That's not it. Yes. My name's Scarlett Licao, and this is for 3326 Northwest 16. I was here last month and with a request to turn in the photos of the bedrooms to show how large the bedrooms are, and it can fit multiple beds. And this is the photos of the bedrooms with the double beds in each bedroom. And that is the bedroom in the basement with 1,000 square feet in the basement, yes. And very 70s decor. That's the master bedroom down on the first floor.
Well, thanks for coming back first, and thanks for putting the pictures together and giving us a really good explanation and a great application so we could see how that you could put 15 people into this home.
Yes.
The one question I had is concerning the number of cars that we parked in the parking.
The cars, as you can see, I have the garage in the back, which can fit up to 2 cars. But most of guests, they can fit up to 4 cars in the parking path on that area on the left side of the photos you can see, and then so 4 cars on that concrete paths, and
Would you be okay with then limiting the number of cars to 6?
yes,
In the
most of the
application?
time, yes, we don't.
Because I don't think you can park on the street. I'm not positive.
No,
on
I don't
16th,
think
but
you
I don't
can.
think
Yeah.
you can.
Any other questions, comments from the board? Not, nobody signed up to speak on this one. Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion then.
Real quickly, how many bedrooms did you say this had?
This one has total is 5 bedrooms.
5, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
The rooms is the 5 is including the down in the basement, but
Okay.
upstairs and up is 4. Yeah.
Okay. And I too want to thank you for giving us a good visual of what this looks like, because it was very difficult to conceive
Yes,
that
I
many people
understand.
in the house.
Yes, and the reason I want to come back as well, it's easy to accept what you offered last time, but I don't think it's fair and it doesn't make any logical sense. By next year when we reapply, the questions will come back. So that's why I'm going to take one more trip to make sure that I show everything, because we want to do it the right way and make sure everyone understand what we're doing as well.
So to give us a refresher on what we offered last time, because again, I still see that this application is asking for 15 guests, but I think we discussed that number to be smaller.
And we did, but as what you said in the pictures, you can put 15 people in this house.
Yeah, and that's
And-
why I
and
said
sleep 15
what we
people.
discussed last week, and now since we see that, you
Yes.
can definitely get more in there. Okay.
Nobody signed up to speak on this one. Is there anything else from the board?
No. So, I move that we approve case number 15300 for a period of 1 year with the self-imposed, for a special exception with the self-imposed house rules.
Limit the cars to 6.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. With the limit of 6 cars in the
Yes.
parking space.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
All right, thank you.
Item number 11, case number 1567, an application of Beryl Falk to allow home sharing at 2601 Northwest 112th Street.
Hello, I'm Burl. Last name is Folk. Do you want me to state my mailing address, my address in Oklahoma City? Or I reside in California, Oklahoma City. It's 8721 Old Brompton Road, Oklahoma City 73132.
All right, tell us a little bit about your application.
Oh, I'm sorry, that address is actually 2601. It's supposed to be 112th Street. If you need me to,
There's
Yeah.
a
Something
two,
else.
it's up in the top by the T. I noticed that too, but
yeah, it's actually supposed to be 112th Street.
it is, if you look up by the two, where the TH is, the
Like
two is
subscript.
up there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that too.
Sorry about that.
I don't have any questions. Anybody?
Is this your first Airbnb here?
Yes. Well, I have my other applications too, but yes, this is one of them.
And looking at the pictures, I mean, the house is really nice. And you're asking for 14 guests
Yes, sir.
with 5 rooms being, is that 5 bedrooms?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I
I see
mean,
the den
the
and the
pull-out
den
sofa,
and the
we're
living room.
including the living room as a room, but it's not really a
Right.
bedroom, but it is a pull-out sofa.
So there's a
So-
total of 4 bedrooms or 5?
It's 4 bedrooms.
Okay.
The den being considered a bedroom.
Your application has it listed as 3 bedrooms, 1 room, which, and
The
one
den
room
and the
number
living room.
4, it's your den, room number 5 is the living room.
I'm sorry, it's actually 4 bedrooms, and room number 5 is the living room.
Okay, thank you very much.
That was my mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a window in the den?
It's actually not a den, it's a bedroom,
Oh, is
with
there?
a door and a closet and with windows, yes.
Okay.
It was my mistake for listing it as a den. Oh, it's right here too.
How many bathrooms do you have in this home?
For bathrooms, there are 2.5. So 2 full bathrooms and 1 half bathroom.
Are you going to be using a property manager, someone to manage this property for you?
Yes, I have a local management team here.
Any other questions from the board? I don't have anybody signed up to speak on this one. So anybody wants to address this application? Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion.
So, okay, for me, I'm a little challenged with the number of guests, only because you only have 2.5 bathrooms. And for 14 people, that seems like that will be kind of tight. The lady before you, even though we approved hers, it was a 5-bedroom. However, she had more bathrooms than that to accommodate that number of guests.
I
And
am,
that's just my concern. The other members may not feel that way.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the square footage
The square footage of this home is in its 3,000s.
According to this paper, it's 1605. And
Well,
then
that's
you have a
the
second
first.
floor that's 812.
I may have
your
missed the
patio
video
just
on
wanted
the
to
other
make
homes. Give me one moment.
So it's a little over 2,200, right?
261.
I feel that that floor plan was attached
I'm sorry, it's
incorrectly.
2,400. 2,400, 2,417 square feet.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried about the amount of occupants. The living room having a pull-out sofa is something that we've seen and typically don't have a problem allowing usage of that space. But both of these bedrooms, I guess the den is also a bedroom, so bedroom 3 and bedroom 4 both have 2 sets of bunk beds, so 4 occupants in each one of those rooms. Is your goal or your idea this set up to accommodate kids, or are you thinking?
It is, any room with a bunk bed, it's aimed towards children. It has 1 full bunk bed, so when we say he sleeps 4, because of the full bed, you double up. So it's just 2 beds in that room.
Okay.
So it can fit a total of 4, so there's only 1 set of bunk beds
So
in that
one
room.
set of bunk beds in each room?
Yes, and that is advertised, so it's under the discretion of the guests. But, I mean, if the board has a concern with the occupancy, the number of people that we can house, we are definitely willing to accommodate that and change it.
Well, again, it's one of my concerns, given the fact that in your bedroom number 1, you have a foldable cot and a bed in that room, right?
So it's a king bed in the master bedroom, and there's a foldable cot in the event someone needs it. That it's hidden, it's in the closet, and it can fit up to 3 people.
And-
It's not advertised as,
Yeah, and in the event, and then also, room number 5, it's a pull-out sectional sofa.
yes, ma'am.
So again, because you're requesting so many people, I can see where I can get on board if we can lower that number, because those 2 things are if they are needed.
Okay, so things like foldable cots, I should just not include that into my occupancy number?
For me, I would feel more comfortable, and again,
Understood.
maybe reduce that number to 10 or 12, but 14 is really high
Yeah,
for me.
definitely, yes.
What do you guys think?
I'm okay with 10. I think that 10 makes sense with the sets of bunk beds in each one. If a family chooses to do double occupancy in one of those, you said they're full-size beds?
They're full-size
If
beds.
they choose to do double occupancy in one of those, depending on their sleeping arrangements. But I think this way, 10 ensures that everybody has a bed and has sufficient space.
Yep, and we're willing to go to 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and then next year, you can come back and tell us how it went, and maybe we can raise that number.
Okay,
But right now,
not a problem.
so since my colleague, Mr. Marcus, agreed, Marcus, would you please state that, how we're gonna?
Yeah. I'd like to, does anybody have any more commentary?
No, we haven't
Okay.
made one.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve case number 15267 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception. It was subject to all the self-imposed rules and with the following modifications, that we reduce the number of guests down to 10, quiet hours to be from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for a period of 1 year.
I second.
I'm sorry, may I speak?
Yes.
So it's okay for the quiet hours to be 10 p.m. because I actually have all mine sent to 9 p.m. But 10 is okay?
That's,
Okay.
I second.
Okay, you got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. I didn't get to vote.
Mr. Voorhees, what say you?
Yes. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see. Okay, you're approved on this one.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 12, case number 15268, an application of Beryl Falk for home sharing at 1305 Northwest 16th Street.
My name is Beryl Folk. My address is 8721 Old Brompton Road, Oklahoma City. And this application is for 1305 Northwest 16th Street.
So, Ms. Falk, can you please tell us a little bit about the sleeping arrangements? Because you're asking for a large number of guests on this one as well.
I guess our number of guests, it's because I was including those foldable cots.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I can exclude those and lower the number of guests.
Okay.
And as far as the driveway and parking space, we actually spoke with our neighbors yesterday, and we've decided to lower that number of parking as well to 4.
It's a pretty big and wide driveway.
It is, but sometimes people have really large vehicles, and if there is a third car in that driveway, because we also have parking in the back, but if there is a third car in that driveway, it tends to block the sidewalk, causing people to have to walk into the road, and that road is pretty narrow and it's not safe.
Well, thank you for making that accommodation without us having to request it, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. And if on that top photo, there's actually additional parking that you can enter in through the alleyway for 2 vehicles. So 2 in the back and then 2 in our driveway.
Okay.
Anything else from the board?
You would be okay with us lowering the number to 10 instead of 12?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I would probably want it reduced a little further than that. This room number 4 is a living room. That's not a bedroom, correct? Am I looking at this right? We've got 3 actual bedrooms
Yes.
and queen beds in each of the bedrooms.
Yes, sir.
I could get on board with an occupancy of 2 for each one, so 6, and then, a couple cots, if there was a cot in each one of those bedrooms, to go to 8.
Okay.
Anything else from the board?
No.
Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion.
Marcus, you got it, or you?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve case number 15268 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules with the following modifications. Number of guests to be max at 8, quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for a period of 1 year.
And for parking spaces?
Yes, and parking to be reduced to a maximum of 4 vehicles.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Member Voorhees, what say you?
I say yes. I didn't get a voting panel, but I'll vote yes. Approved?
Okay, I think we need to do a voice vote.
Yeah, it's not displaying on the screen, so.
Okay. Mr. Voorhees,
Yes.
Kitty Asbury,
Yes.
Don Noble,
Aye.
Judy,
Yes.
all approved.
Okay.
Item number 13, case number 15269, a special exception of Beryl Falk to allow home sharing at 1212 Northwest 30th Street.
Hi, Beryl Folk, 8721 Old Brompton Road, Oklahoma City, and this application is for 1212 Northwest 30th Street.
So again, this one is so similar to your last one, not just,
Yes,
The
ma'am, in the
requirements.
occupancy.
yes.
Yeah, it's the same situation. It's because we include the number of cots, so we are willing to go down on the number of guests.
And then the driveway is asking for 6. 6 can fit in this driveway?
Yes, ma'am. In the front, we can actually fit 3, and our driveway goes down pretty far. You can fit, I can actually fit at least another 4 vehicles, but currently, yeah, we have it at 6.
So I'm still where I stood before with the number of guests and everything. For me, this is too many. And how many square feet is this home?
This home in particular is, sorry, ma'am, give me one moment.
It looks a little larger than the other one.
This home is 1892.
Wow, it looks larger. I guess the way it looks designed.
And what you see there that we have listed as the den for this one, it's actually the attic. It's fully ventilated with a new air conditioning system, and it's our children's bedroom. That's why there's 3 beds in there.
You said the attic is complete conditioned space
Yes,
and insulated?
insulated, air conditioning, has electricity, everything up there.
And that's where the 3 full beds are?
That's 3 full beds, yes, sir.
Is that house that's,
That's just the back shed.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the board?
We need to discuss the number of guests, for sure.
Would you be willing to go to 12 guests on this?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have anybody signed up to speak on this one. Anything else? I guess we're ready for a motion on this one.
I'll make a motion that we approve case number 15269 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules with the following modifications: the maximum number of guests to be capped at 12, quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for a period of 1 year.
Do we have a second?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I thought you was hitting it.
I don't see a voting panel for me. I vote yes.
Okay, we'll do a voice vote. Mr. Voorhees,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Noble,
Aye.
Udi,
Yes.
all approved. Okay, we're to item number 14, case number 15282, an application of Beryl Falk to allow home sharing at 10913 Rock Ridge Road.
Hi, Borough Folk, 8721 Old Brompton Road, Oklahoma City. This application is for 10913 Rock Ridge Road.
Is that a circular drive?
I'm sorry?
Is that a circular drive?
It's not really a circle, but it does go through one
Okay.
side and has 2 exits.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
This den, it's a den or it's,
This one is a den.
okay. Is there a window? in
There
this
is a
den?
window, yes.
Anything else from the board?
Yeah, I would like to ask that we consider lowering the number from 15 to 12?
Yes? Yeah, definitely.
Now, we've got some protest letters, and I've got some folks signed up to speak on this one. Anything else from the board?
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I know we've actually had 2 protests on this application, and I'm not sure if they're here today, but I wanted to express that. I know that there are concerns of parties, as always, with home sharing properties. And we do prioritize our neighbors and the community, and we do our due diligence when trying to prevent these things from happening. And I just wanted to show that we have this device. It's called a Minute device. And it actually attaches to a magnet onto the ceiling. And what the device does is it uses, it has this microphone, and it measures sound decibels. So we are able to set a threshold. I have it set at 75, and when that exceeds that level for over 10 minutes, it'll send me an alert. That way I can address my guests immediately if there is a noise disturbance. I'm not sure if there's any issues with parking on the driveway. I have it set for 6 vehicles. And we do have it listed that there's absolutely no street parking. In addition to detecting noise with this machine, it can also detect the number of people in the home. It uses your cell phone's signal. It can detect through Wi-Fi, network, and Bluetooth. So if anybody has a cell phone and enters the home, I'm able to see how many people are in the home. The only thing it won't detect is maybe young children who don't have a cell phone. So that's how we also keep track and make sure that we're not having parties.
So one of the complaints was more so of the traffic coming in and out versus the noise.
And I can see why we do have our parking to 6 vehicles. I mean, if decreasing the number of parking spaces will help with traffic, we're willing to do that as well.
And that was one of the things I would like for us to possibly consider, because again, the person who wrote the complaint, it's definitely an issue for that neighbor.
Okay, I understand. And my local contact here, his name is Mr. Jason Ta. He actually lived in this home right before for 1.5 years, and he's actually really familiar with the neighbors, our surrounding neighbors. He has actually agreed to go to the home, roll in the trash bins weekly, and address any disturbances if there are any. And these neighbors are actually encouraged to reach out to him in the event we have a nuisance. So if approved, I'll also be leaving my phone number, my contact number with all of our neighbors, as well as Mr. Jason Ta's contact.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board? Okay. Let's start with Brian Van Landingham, signed up to speak.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Brian Van
Do we
Landingham.
share this one?
You can have a seat
Go
while
ahead and
they
have a
come
seat.
up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know.
We'll bring you back up in a minute. Go ahead.
I'm at 11,000 Rock Ridge Road, right across the street, diagonal to the house. I have a number of issues with it. First, the mortgage is in an individual's name that used to live there, and he has transferred into an LLC. His mortgage says that he cannot transfer the property. Therefore, he's in default of his mortgage is one issue. 2, they have it advertised on Airbnb for 16-plus people. The current guests are leaving all their shoes outside, plus mattresses. They were parking in the grass last night. As you can see, there's street parking in the neighbor's yard. It has been a nuisance already, and they just started January. It's against the HOA's covenants. Kewald Creek is, a neighbor that has HOAs and has standards. This does not meet those standards. John, the neighbor that their yard was parking in, he is located at 11,001 Rock Ridge. He is 70 years old and not able in health to actually attend this today. And so I told him I'd be opposed. He said he sent in his notice in that he was opposed to it by mail, as being an older gentleman. And then the house directly to the south at 10900 Maple Grove is owned by Hope is Alive Ministries. It is a halfway house. So it already has an occupancy of about probably 8 to 12 people, and they are recovering alcoholics and drugs. And I do not think that having a party house right next door is good to them, who is trying to get their lives back on track. So that's just a short, brief summary. I wrote everything down that you probably got the email from Cindy on.
And you said you had a photo, was it, you said there were some shoes and cars, that was last night?
Yes. Well, the cars, that was the night before. So they're parked in the street here, they're all the way around, they're on the neighbor's yard with a trailer.
So it's already being,
Oh, it's already been, they've already had a party started the first week and they listed back in January. Oh, yes, go for it.
oh, I
They
believe.
had a mattress on the front door just a couple days ago. Their
Oh,
shoes,
that's
all the
so
guests are leaving their shoes out on the front door. Like last night, I have a video of that big dually pulling up and had like 7 kids in the back of the truck getting
Well,
out.
that's what I was about
So
to
let
say.
me just say this for the record, because we can't have this as a part of our records, we
Okay.
truly appreciate you bringing it
Okay.
here, but you can tell us whatever you want us to hear, but as far as that, we are not supposed to have that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So, and that's the other thing is that we don't want to be bad neighbors per se, because we know these people are spending their hard-earned money and are wanting to have a good time, and I don't want to bother them, but they are being a bother to the people that are around them. And so I don't want to have to call the city and go on the OKC Connect app and start submitting all these complaints every single day or every week. I don't think that's the city's resources and best use of time. So I just ask that you reject this request. So, any questions?
Any questions?
I've just got a comment. I'll say that I appreciate the information you shared with us. There's a couple things that we run into at each of these meetings, so we don't have any jurisdiction over, HOA requirements is something that would have to go to district
Yes, the HOA
court.
is currently working with the attorney. They're going to press civil lawsuits against each individual owner.
Yeah, that would be the
So,
correct channel
correct.
to challenge.
Yeah, I just didn't want to waste our HOA dollars if we don't have to.
Oh, I completely understand. And then as far as mortgage guidelines, obviously, same thing.
I've already emailed the mortgage company letting them know.
Yeah, our hands are tied there. A lot of times the criticism is that we rubber stamp these. I assure you that's not the case. We're limited with the scope of information that we can review. But I've stated it in previous meetings and I'll state it again today. One of the big things for me in terms of an application or being critical in review of an application is the management of the application. And so, the management of the property. And so the fact that it has been operating without a license and that there have been problems, that does weigh heavily for me personally. So I appreciate that, and I just wanted to let you know where I'm at on it.
Appreciate that.
And I echo the same.
So, well, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Stephen Nixon. After all.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Nixon. I live at 10901 Rock Ridge Road since 1994. It's 2 houses to the south of the property in question. As the previous homeowner pointed out, the house between us is a home for men in transition. There's another one, 6 houses to the north. So on our street, we already have the traffic of those 4 to 6 cars at each of those locations that the homeowner wants to add to a very narrow stretch of road that has no sidewalks on either side. So in spite of their request to use 6 cars, if you put 6 cars in that driveway, 2 cannot move. it's going to force people to park out on the road. And again, it's already narrow and there are no sidewalks, so people are forced to walk around in between cars to safely transit. In our neighborhood, it's a walking loop. If you take a look at the overhead view, folks walk their dogs and they walk for exercise around that loop, and it presents a hazard. There are 2 other homes, as I stated in my letter, that are already operating under home sharing, advertising online, and both of them are listed at 16 for an occupancy. So the 5th paragraph of my note said that is redundant. I realize now that that's the purpose of the special exemption, that it's intended as a codicil to require the homeowner to be in the home unless they have that special exemption, right? But it does highlight the absence of immediacy, that the homeowners using the online service, which is principally how people will complain, and now a local person that will be their representative, there's no immediacy to respond to our concerns as they occur, which means we're invested in having to experience those and report them in order to protect our homes, which, as you can tell from the business choices people are making, are bringing down our property values, or they threaten our property values. That's all I had. Anybody have any questions of me before I sit down?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I've got Stephen Brown.
Stephen Brown. I live in 10912 Rock Ridge Road, which is directly across the street from the house in question. So on a related note, I mean, there's already and I think unlicensed Airbnb operating directly behind me with a pool that's throwing parties in the summer, and that's loud. And so bringing another one into the mix, also with a pool across the street being advertised as a party house, does bring concern to me personally. I'll echo also the Hope is Alive sentiment. Those 2 houses, I think, are great programs. I know people that are heavily invested in that program, and I really don't believe that having a house advertised for partying and hanging out is a great idea to be mixing in with folks in recovery. To me, it just seems like these are folks from California just coming in and buying houses that really doesn't really do anything for Oklahomans, just Californians that maybe got priced out there just buying up houses and not really doing their due diligence. I'd also like to stress the family kind of neighborhood that Quail Creek is, especially the south side of the neighborhood. It is full of young families walking dogs and going out on walks. The street in question, Rock Ridge Road, you can see there it's the main thoroughfare that goes to Quail Creek Park. So it is very busy getting into the neighborhood, and also folks walking up and down constantly. In addition to there is a Jewish community center, a synagogue across the street on Hefner that comes walking through a lot with large groups of people. And so I just, there's that. Quail Creek's an incorporated neighborhood. It's against our covenants. They've already been operating illegally, which gives me pause to think about future management. Like what the other neighbors have echoed, already been a nuisance, people coming and going. I've seen upwards of 10 cars parked there, probably more. And this is January through March. We haven't even hit the summertime, whenever they plan to really use the pool and probably ramp up. The garage is full of game tables too that go out into there. So, I mean, you can't really call it anything else but a party house. Those bunk beds are not going to be used for children. It's only 2356 square feet, four bed, 2.5 baths. I think what did we get it down to? 12 people? I think that's what the recommendations or something was. Still seems like a stretch to me. Still, it's not that big of a house to be hosting that many people. And yeah, just again, would like to echo just the family part of the neighborhood and what we would like to do to keep our property values safe and our children safe as they grow up. So, thank you.
Anything from the board for Stephen? Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thanks for your time.
All right. You want to come on back up and address those comments, please?
I definitely understand the community's concerns. Regarding the mortgage, it's under an LLC that the homeowner is actually a part of. The applicant, me, I think I had submitted the deed and everything else in, and the current mortgage company is still being the invoice is still being sent out to the property owner, which is, I think, under there it says Shunmin Soo. In regards to some of the traffic, I mean, it was mentioned that, yes, there are children. We are actually currently we're starting to take ourselves off of Airbnb. We are still listed, however, we are working with a insurance relocation specialist now. And what they do is we provide temporary housing for families who have endured disasters in their homes. Because a lot of the times, mishaps happen, flooding, people's houses burn down, and they need a home to stay in. And we're currently working with those type of specialists now to rehome those families. We don't advertise ourselves as a party home. It's actually throughout our whole listing, from the house description to before they book to after they book, no parties. Absolutely, we don't want that in our community either. And that's where I stressed, you know, I do now have Mr. Ta, the past resident of that home, on this property now to watch over it in the event I'm not here, because I can't watch it, but he will. And he now lives about 6 minutes away on the other side of Lake Hefner off of MacArthur Road, or MacArthur Boulevard. So I do trust in him that he will upkeep this property for us and make sure that there's no parties. As far as parking, we are willing to decrease that number as well. If 4 vehicles is what it takes, then we're okay with that. We really don't want to be a nuisance to the community, and we are willing to work with our neighbors to make us work and coexist. I mean, I've worked hard with my local team here to ensure we take the appropriate measures when operating a rental property, because I do this as a business. This is my main business. I work with my managers and Mr. Ta and communicate with my guests daily. I do message them if I do see anything out of the ordinary. We have cameras throughout the property, and I can see the road. We don't encourage anybody to park on the street. Sometimes people will come by, but they come and go. They're not permanently there. They don't park like 10 vehicles overnight. So, I mean, and to our neighbors, please let us know if there's anything else that you've experienced that we can work on and try to make our community a better place while coexisting. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the board?
Yeah, I've got a question. Can you address the specific concerns that the neighbors have at the property that are taking place right now? That's a big thing for me. The fact that presently in the last couple of days, I mean, I don't know if you've received any of the photos that they've had, but I know I would not want that experience if I was a neighbor living next door and having somebody
I have not seen the photos. I know that the family that was there, I mean, and the whole thing about operating illegally, that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm here trying to get this settled so I can get a license and operate legally. And the last family who was in there, they were a bunch of kids. They were on spring break, young children, I would say like 10 and below, with their families. I believe they had a few larger vehicles, but I was not aware that they were parking on the neighbor's yard. I didn't know about that. So this is why we are willing to give our phone numbers out to all of our neighbors, everybody surrounding us. In the event something like this happens, we will immediately message them. I'll have Mr. Ta go out to speak with them. But we do address these issues immediately. And I'll most of the times I'll call, I'll text, I'll message them on the app, I'll even email them if I don't get a response. So we are doing our due diligence to prevent these things, but if we're unaware, sometimes we will miss it. But with these cameras that we now have in place, it can be monitored. So I hope that will help.
Well, and again, for me, I definitely cannot do 15 people. And with the gentleman before you stating that it's a little over 2,600 square feet, and you're advertising 4 bedrooms, however, 2 additional rooms, which are basically living rooms themselves. You have a den and a living room listed with trundles and pullouts. For me, I would feel comfortable with 8 to 10 guests. And as far as vehicles, because again, the complaint was of traffic coming and going, I would like to see that number reduced to 4 in the event that we go with a lower number of guests. And then I heard you mention that you're looking at possibly turning this into a different type of business, because it is a business. Right now, you're advertising short term, but what you talked about a few minutes ago was more long term.
Yes, we're actually pulling away from, we are still listed on the major booking platforms such as VRBO and Airbnb, but this home in particular, we've actually have started working with the insurance company because we do know that this is a quieter neighborhood, and that's not the vision, that's not what we want to bring into the neighborhood either. We would rather have these families that stay longer.
And that was a plus for me hearing that, because it lets me know that in the event it is approved, you do have a secondary plan where, you know, possibly in that year's period of time, you may switch over to your second plan.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with that. And there was one other thing that I noted. I didn't write myself a note, but yeah, those were my 3 concerns.
Okay. Anything else from the board? Those are the only 3 folks I had signed up to speak. Anybody else want to address this application?
I do have another question. You mentioned Mr. Ta. What is his profession?
He does a number of things. He owns a restaurant in the Asian district off Classen, and he also works with, in Shawnee. He has a business out in Shawnee. He actually does some property management out there as well. He also owns a hydroponic store for farm and gardening supplies.
Yeah, I'm not judging him based off of his career choices. I'm mainly asking to ascertain the level of the effort that he can put forth into managing this property. I think that in the community that you're in, obviously the neighbors are very concerned about, you know, their routines being impacted, and I think it's important to have a manager in place that's going to be actively engaged in making sure that their experience doesn't deteriorate in any type of way. So I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling with this application a little bit because it gets to my one real concern when we have these. A lot of times we get people coming in and they don't think that we should have these at all. There's a lot of people that are very much against folks that are not local buying them, and I can't deny an application for any of those things. So you don't have to worry about any of that. However, I do feel like it is our responsibility to make sure that we are doing our part to help these communities stay vibrant and a place that people want to raise families and walk dogs. All of those things are important. So the idea that these people have had a negative experience is something that weighs heavily on me. I can't speak for my other commissioners, but in order for me to approve this application, I'm only going to be interested in doing it if we reduce the number of guests down to 6. I think this house can accommodate much more than 6, but I'm intentionally wanting it reduced to that number just to really impede the ability of large groups to come in and host parties. I'm willing to reconsider this in a year and say, hey, we've had a year, we get along with our neighbors. If you convince these people to come back and say, she's doing an awesome job, I'm all ears for a higher number of guests there. But at this point, that's what I would need in order to approve this application.
Understood. And if I may add, Mr. Jason Ta, he did live there for a while, and he really does care about the home and the community. So it was, when I mentioned this to him, he actually was the one who wanted to take responsibility of managing this because I'm not here. So, and I believe he'll do a good job doing so. Living only 6-7 minutes away now from this address in question.
Does he have a regular maintenance man assigned
Yes,
to
yeah.
this?
During the applicable months, weekly, we have lawn care, and he's going to be the one who's doing taking out the trash and bringing it back in and checking in on the home and just making sure everything is good with the home.
And you said that person comes once a week?
Yes, during when mowing season begins.
Well, and the reason I'm asking that is because, again, I did hear a complaint about the amount of trash and other things that are at this property. So would you consider adding an additional self-imposed rule where that maintenance man is available more than just that once?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, I do have a local team here with multiple maintenance men. And if needed, I can have them go twice a week, 3 times a week, whenever there's trash. Yeah, definitely.
And normally self-imposed rules are for the guests themselves, but again, we want to ensure that the neighbors feel okay with this if it's approved for that 1-year period, that we're trying to accommodate them as well as we are trying to assist you. Because I'm looking forward, if it's approved, of seeing you again and hearing what that long-term plan is, which I think that's better for the state of Oklahoma than what's happening now as well.
Understood. Thank you.
I'd like to say one thing to the people who took their time to come here to protest. And I did hear one other thing that you didn't want to be that person to be calling. But without you here, without you making those phone calls, we don't get that information, and we have to have good information to make good decisions.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming, but don't stop expressing what you're seeing.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
May I make one comment? I have my form. It's directly to that.
Come on up.
I'm sorry, I took notes on that.
Go to that one.
Give us your name and address and
Okay, my name is Barbara Rupert. I live at 3917 Northwest 70th Street. And I'm here trying to understand what the process is. And we're dealing with a similar situation in our neighborhood. We had a recent incident where we're trying to use the Action Center,
It's about this case.
KC.gov and so forth.
excuse me,
The question I have is, when the call was made, when yet again the house was occupied, even though the owner said that he'd taken it off Airbnb, that the Action Center said that the only way they could determine if somebody was renting would be to ask them. So I suppose, is it better to have people illegally leave it on Airbnb so that they can prove it instead of taking it down? I'm not sure, as a practical matter, with our experience, how to do this.
and what we're addressing today, right now, is just this application.
Yeah, but it's the problem of addressing how we address your comment, because I agree, we need to let you know, but then in terms of the system working, what do we do? And I know this is a
So-
problem for everybody that's experiencing this.
Right. Again, continue with the action center, but your next step is your city council person, okay? And we're stuck with the purview that we can look at that council person and the entire council. This question is something that needs to keep evolving.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak on this application? Any other comments from the board?
Yes, I would like to ask my colleague Marcus, since you're looking at reducing that number to 6, do you want to look at the number of parking vehicles and stuff? Did you mention that at all?
Oh, I didn't, but I'm going to be comfortable with whatever you all want. I think that my issue I think part of it would solve itself with reducing the total number to 6, but I'm okay with whatever you're thinking in terms of cars.
Well, so I would be good if it's 6 guests with 3 cars. And the reason I'm bringing this up again, so that we can put that as a point of our records as well.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
and 6, it's lower than what I would have recommended, because I did say 8 to 10. However, again, because we want to make sure that your neighbors are feeling they're being justified as well, and we're trying to meet you in the middle to see if we can do something, because complaints are going to come regardless wherever the property is located. But the people who live in those neighborhoods, they live there. So we definitely do not want to overlook them at all.
Right, I agree.
And Marcus is king at wording stuff, so Marcus, what?
Thank you. I'm going to make a motion to approve case number 15282 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception, subject to the self-imposed rules with the following modifications: that we reduce the number of guests to a maximum of 6, the number of cars to a maximum of 3, with quiet hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. with a 1-year exception, with a 1-year period.
And for the renter to know that they are to do maintenance at least,
Yes, was it twice a week?
yeah,
So
just to check through so that, you
Okay.
know, please.
mandatory
Yes.
maintenance
Okay.
walkthrough twice a week.
Did you get that?
And you don't have to advertise that part, that's just something for you, but we know we'll have a record of it.
Okay.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
My screen has not moved over.
Notice if we spend too much time on one case, the system's like,
Was Asbury, okay.
Okay, 3-1, you're approved.
Item number 15, case number 153, Valley Fawn, to allow home sharing at 3104 North Military Avenue.
Good afternoon. My name is Allie Dinfon. I'm located at 2308 Southwest 96th Street, Oklahoma 73159, and I am here for the property at 3104 North Military Avenue.
Any questions from the board? Comments?
How many square feet is your property?
I'm sorry.
How many square feet is your property?
I'm sorry. This home is 2250 square feet.
Okay, thank you.
You're requesting 8 guests with 3 rooms being offered. Is it 3 bedrooms?
So we actually have 4 full bedrooms.
4 full bedrooms.
Yeah,
And
we have a master suite, and then we also have a second master bedroom with the bathroom in it. And then we have we purchased this property back in 2021. It was abandoned in the neighborhood for a year. So we come in and we completely rehab the property. The upstairs attics has been converted from the previous owner, so we made it into a bedroom. We converted into a bedroom, and it's actually had a full closet, and, you know, we kind of made it into like a kid room as well.
Okay, so your application is saying that you have 3 rooms that is being offered, however, there are 4?
Yes, so we wasn't sure how we were supposed to put it on there because the room is the attics.
Okay.
And so I don't know how I should have offered it. We did put a bed in there, and it has a TV and everything. It does not have a bathroom upstairs, so technically it is 4. And we also have a like a study room. We made a study room, and it has a sofa couch in the room as well. We only offer it as 3-bedroom. Yeah.
So you have enough capacity to hold 8 guests?
I think my husband is the one who filed this application. We are actually hoping to host 12 guests because it is a 4 bedrooms. And we also have 4 futon bed as well.
Excuse me, did you say we are hoping to host 12 guests? Is that what you just said?
Yes, that's what we're hoping for.
So your application does not say that. It says maximum number of guests to be accommodated is 8.
Yes, I believe that he might have put it wrong on there. So when we first applied for this, which is back in January, we were wanting to do 8, but after I have furnace and did everything, that we're hoping that we'll be able to do 12.
Okay, thank you for explaining that.
Yes.
But I do want you to know, because I'm looking at what the application states,
Yes,
and although I'll accept the 4 bedrooms that you have,
yes,
but I'm going to stick with the 8 guests that was originally requested.
yes.
However, my colleagues may think differently.
I'm sorry.
I said, however, my colleagues may think differently. However, I'm sticking with
Yes.
the 8.
Yes.
Do you have, is that attic conditioned space? Do you have heating and cooling in the attic?
Yes, so the home was completely rehabbed. The only thing was kept was the wall. Everything else was done. We insulated, and it is fully with HVAC system and everything.
And so it's insulated up there?
Yes.
And you have a egress window in the event of a fire?
Yes.
I'm just going to go over some of the stuff that I request on the first application, and this is the first time this property's been up.
Yes.
And so for me, I'd need just a 1-year permit, and quiet hours you list from 9 p.m. and I just would suggest to 8 a.m.
Yes, I can do that.
And I agree also with let's stick with 8 guests for the first year application.
Yes, we can definitely do that.
Anything else from the board? I don't have anybody signed up to speak on this one.
And I think there wasn't an application or a protest, but there was a letter in agreement with the application.
Okay, so I so move that we approve case number 15302 for a special exception of a period of 1 year, offering 4 bedrooms, 8 guests, with all of the self-imposed rules.
For
For
1
1
year.
year.
That's what I
Said that.
heard.
I did.
Okay, motion and a second. It says waiting. Oh,
So move it again.
there we go. It's as slow as I am.
It is.
All right, you're approved.
Thank you.
Item number 16, case number 15303, a special exception of Andrea Birchfield for home sharing at 2108 and a half North Kelly Avenue.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Andrea Birchfield. My address is 700 North Evan Hale Drive.
Tell us a little bit about your property.
This is a garage apartment that is historic to the property. There is a duplex in the front, and that is the garage apartment behind the primary two units. Pictured above, staircase gets to the unit with a one-bedroom, full kitchen, full bathroom, and full living room property, and it has a storage and laundry space in one of the storage units below. It is really close to OU Health Science Center, which we think helps house our medical professionals in Oklahoma City.
Any questions from the board?
Is this a new structure?
Is this new construction? No, this is a historic property. It has been refreshed by my company, new paint, and we had foundation work done, cut down a tree that was a nuisance. Previously, we've owned the property since, I want to say like 2015 or something. It was Section 8. It was one of Robert Elder's homes, Warrior Holdings. He does a great service in our city for affordable housing. But we have since converted and improved the property. And the front two units are managed by my in-house property management company, and those have long-term tenants that help keep us up to date on the well-being of this short-term rental in the back.
Okay.
Anything else from the board?
Again, this is the first time this property's been put up for short-term, so.
It is, but I've been hosting on Airbnb since 2016, and I have 5 units that are licensed and grandfathered in.
I do see that, and I do appreciate that, but this property in this spot, first time, and so that's just kind of where I've always felt that 1 year's great. Next time you come back, as long as there's no complaints, I'll accept it.
I appreciate your position, Commissioner Noble, but I respectfully ask the rest of the board to consider a longer extension due to my long-standing, proven short-term rental track record.
We appreciate your comments, but since this is the first time listing, I will approve of 1 year myself.
Anything else from the board? Nobody signed up to speak on this one. I think we're ready for a motion.
I would like to move that we approve case number 15303 for a special exception of 1 year with all of the self-imposed rules.
Motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You're welcome.
Item number 17, case number 15304, application of special exception of Melissa Eisman for home sharing at 1217 Northeast 15th Street.
Good afternoon, Melissa Eisman. I live at 255 East 27th Place, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Application is for 1217 Northeast 15th Street. It is a 2-bed, 1-bath with a bonus room on the back that we have cots in that can be pulled out. The use is for our medical professionals. It's near OU Med, and it's geared towards families.
Is this your home, or are you representing someone else?
So this is my home. I'm Melissa. I am the managing director of 32 Group, who owns the property.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Any other questions from the board?
You're asking for 6 guests with 2 bedrooms. Give me the sleeping arrangement.
There's a king-size bed and a queen-size bed. The 6 guests is for 2 children for the cots in the back bonus room, if there's children.
Those are just roll-out mattresses.
Yeah, they can be just pulled out if
Okay.
necessary.
Would you accept quiet hours,
Yes, no problem.
10 p.m. to
10 p.m.
8 a.m.?
Hmm?
Okay. and then I'm going to say the same thing.
1 year.
1 year.
Understand.
Okay. I don't have anybody signed up to speak on this one. Doesn't look like anybody's hanging around to speak, so I think we're ready for a motion.
I so move that we approve case number 15304 for a special exception of a period of 1 year with the self-imposed rules listed.
Motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you.
Item number 18, case 15305, a renewal of a special exception. Rianne Lee to allow home sharing at 4813 North Miller Avenue.
Someone here?
I'm thinking nobody's here on this one.
No.
Person behind the last pew.
It was a renewal application.
You want to just move them over to the next Duncan?
Yeah, can we just,
Want to go check the lobby?
Okay.
Yeah, if they're here, we already got so many for next time. Okay, thank you. I would like to move that we hear case number 15305 at our next meeting, which is what date? It's in April, and it's the 4th or something like that?
April 6th.
April 6th, at the April 6th meeting.
Okay, motion to continue. Is there a second? Cast your votes. Okay. The next,
So item number 19 through item number 25 have been deferred. And that's the end of our items.
and under additional items, I'm assuming you want me to remind everybody to be there March 24th.
Yes, there was an agenda that was attached. That we're
Okay,
having
you're
our
reminded.
workshop.
It'll be some fun.
What?
Yeah, annual learning for
Yes.
all city boards and
Oh.
commissions, update on rules and.
Yes, it's a wonderful experience. You don't want to miss it.
It's worth attending, yeah.
I must have overlooked it then.
And they do want to have an RSVP, so we will know the head count for food, and if you can get that to me by Friday.
Can you get the details from Cindy? It's,
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
sure I had it.
It was in the packet, or I got one.
okay.
Oh, I'm sure I did too, because I should have gotten everything you got.
Okay.
I probably threw it away because a lot of the stuff that don't go with this. So Cindy, I hate to double work you, but could you send that information so I can look at it, please?
Yes, I have it.
And
right.
also, may I please have a schedule of all of the meetings, because I don't have one, and I think they were passed out when I wasn't here, or something happened.
Yes, I'll be happy to get that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, communications reports. I don't have any committees, any comments from board?
Thank
Ni-
you.
Municipal Counselor's Office? Citizens to be heard, other business adjourned. Thank
You're
you.
so good.
Oh, that's on a Friday.
Yes.
I think I can make it
Is
there.
this a record? Is this a record? An hour and a half? Impressive. I'd say so.
They